Hi, it's Rich Tehrani reporting here from CTIA 2010. We're in sunny Las Vegas, and today on our program we've got Bryan Martin, who is the CEO of 8x8. Bryan, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Rich.
Thanks for being on the program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I just stumbled across you here.
Yeah, it was great when I saw you there. Bryan's been a past keynoter of ours at IT Expos, and we go way back many years.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure we...
I'm not sure I went to the first one, but I went to one of the first ones.
A number of... Well,
you've
been... I've seen you at almost all of them,
yep.
And I know you always have something interesting and exciting to say, and I wanted to have you come on the program and talk to us about what's new and what's happening at the company.
So the company's doing great. We're countering the economic trends. Our customers are still suffering from the trends, and we're up to a point now where we see about half of our cancellations of small business customers are coming from businesses going out of business. Oh. And so we haven't seen that turn yet, but we're interested in what Cisco and some of the larger enterprise players are saying, that the IT budgets are starting to loosen up, people are a little more optimistic, and we're hoping that trickles down to our customer base. But we're still adding a lot of customers, we're still bringing them into the IP communication space, and I think a lot of the technologies that I'm seeing here at this show at CTIA are going to enable that even more.
It's very exciting.
It is. I think it's a fantastic time. We've been talking about 4G forever, and it is actually beginning to happen. It's in small pockets, but I know we have customers here in Las Vegas that access our services over something like a Clearwire modem, and they're completely wireless. And we've moved in the last 6 months, we've moved heavily into the unified communication space. We've got the web applications out there that enable me, if I'm on a cross-country flight on JetBlue or Virgin America, I can get on my web browser, I can quietly don my headset and try to pretend that I'm not talking on the phone, even though I'm accessing my desk phone and talking on the phone. And
so you've broken through the airline security to do that?
Yeah, once you embed it in Flash on a web browser, they're not going to block YouTube videos. At least I hope not, and so they can't block that stuff.
I recommend people use a Bluetooth headset so that they're
I have to. There is something where you feel like you're violating someone's space next to you by talking during the flight, but you can definitely do it. And we saw Apple and AT&T open up their 3G networks to voice over IP, so we were one of the first apps out there that could do that. And so now if once you land, you're in the back of the taxi cab, you've got access to your IP phone as well. So I think it's starting to really become a universal platform for accessing these types of IP services. I think we got to do a lot of work to bridge the different networks so that it's still not seamless, that if I move from my desk phone onto my iPhone, onto my laptop, I've got to replace the call. It doesn't always carry through. But I think the standards communities will solve that very quickly here, and I think we'll be able to do that very quickly.
Now, are there any segments of your business that are picking up more than others, such as like the SIP trunking or something like that?
The SIP trunking doesn't have a lot of growth in it, but it is a steady business, so we're not seeing it accelerate. But we are just seeing a lot of these small businesses, really across the board. I mean, small from 5 to 20 employees, all the way up to very large businesses coming to us. A lot of these businesses were sold an enterprise-grade IP telephony solution a couple of years ago. They're kind of in a multi-year deployment of that across the enterprise. And as you know, the IT budgets have just been slashed last year, and then they got cut again, very recently.
Sure.
And so I think that what we're finding is CIOs and the IT people at these companies having to get very creative because they're still opening a new sales office or whatever they're doing, but they don't have the budget to go spend on the CapEx side. And so what we do is we come in, we create a very creative mechanism for them to hide, what would otherwise be a CapEx expenditure in their OpEx budget, which they still, have access to. And so we try to, our front-end equipment is very inexpensive, and in fact, you don't even need equipment to get our service. And then the monthly fees just go into their OpEx budget, and they can move forward. So I think just across the board, small to large, we're seeing continued adoption of hosted services. And I think a lot of it is coming from those budget constraints at the large end especially.
So any big trends that we can talk about going forward that you're seeing?
Well, I mean, mobile to me is kind of the last, I don't know if it's a planetary conquest, but it's kind of the last dimension to this thing. And, I think that's where if we can truly get, a couple megabits to everyone's cell phones, then I think we haven't even begun to imagine what the communication applications can be there. And so we're starting to see that. We've driven vans around Las Vegas. We know what these networks are capable of when you get them onto 4G. and you can really start doing some incredible things to make an office worker or an IT manager or even a CEO like myself a lot more productive in terms of being able to manage that communications infrastructure within the company. And so I just think mobile is going to be a big trend for us. I think it's going to be a big trend for all of IP communications companies as we go forward.
Now, is video becoming big again?
Video, it is very interesting. I mean, we're a video company. That's how we got our start.
Sure.
And we've been doing video as long as I've been at the company. We did two-way video. We did kind of video conferencing, video communications. But the video interest on the entertainment side is just going off the chart, and the bandwidth that's being used. And so I think the question will be, does that interest in video as a media type move into the two-way communication space or not? Or does it kind of stay in the webinar, the training applications? Right. Certainly we've seen a lot of interest in like security applications. You want to be able to access security cameras at your business via your IP communication services and blend that. But that's all one-way video.
Right.
And so one-way video I think is very popular.
But on the high end you've got the telepresence. So the question is it going to start to slowly, and in the low end you've got Skype.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Are we going to somehow
So I haven't seen it yet. I can tell you it's about 2 to 3% of our total revenues today is video. But I do think there's a change going on, and it may take another generation or two of professionals. You know, I think my kids, when they graduate into the workforce, are going to be very comfortable using video as part of their day-to-day work in a two-way sense. But I just don't know that, you know, our generation is there yet.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? In the next 10 or 15 years, as telepresence gets rolled out, and Moore's Law continues to drop the prices of telepresence.
But I think you had all of the, you know, I hate to be a bear on it just because this is how we, you know, got our start. But we had all the, between H1N1, between the economic crisis, you know, everything was there that if video conferencing was going to pop, it would have popped. And it just, you know, we just didn't see it. And we've tried giving the technology away. We've said, if you sign up for our voice service, which is very popular, we'll give you video for free, and we still didn't see any adoption of it.
Interesting.
So
very, very interesting.
I'm very optimistic on the entertainment application of it, because everyone, I don't even get Netflix DVDs in the mail anymore. My kids are on a TiVo box that's getting a Netflix real-time stream.
And I know people
that's
streaming
how they watch
on their
TV.
iPhones and streaming on their
So that
Blackberries.
side of it is really off the hook, and the bandwidths are going through the roof. But I just don't know if we'll get to where the business application for it, other than outside those places I talked about, webinars and training, where it makes sense.
Well, it's been great talking with you. Are there any other things that we should know about your company, about what you're doing?
I think the industry is very healthy. I think the companies that are still here are making money, which is good to see. And hopefully the funding will loosen up for some of the new, you know, innovative technologies that are out there waiting to come on the scene. And we're just riding the wave.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for being on the program.
All right, Rich.
It's a pleasure as always. Great to run into you.
You too. You too.